Please have your noties on, man, because we going through this today, okay, fellas? First things first, in order to have a good defense, you got to have your roster set up, all right? Now, if you know, I think last year they changed some defenses where your edge rushers or your situational edge rushers were included into certain sets as, like 3-4 odds where your sub edge rushers would come through. So it basically makes the 3-4 odd basically a 5-2 now. So with that, now you can change it out with your packages and stuff, but I'm going to go over the rush defensive ends. You'll have Combs and Crosby. I like to put Crosby on the weak side just because it's just harder for him to get blocked for some odd reason. For right-handed quarterbacks, having your best rusher off the edge on the blind side is just a little bit more better than having them in a situation that's easier if they choose to block them on the strong side. Even though Crosby could still, break off of a double team, I prefer him not to get double teamed as much as possible. Then we just kind of go into the linebacker. This is where it's going to be more or less important. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your two best linebackers on the inside, right? Your two best cover linebackers on the inside. Now, keep in mind, you're running basically a 3-4 with a 5-2 auto sub taking place. He won't be your starting line. Like, he'll be your starting linebacker for that, but when you shift your packages, you're going to also start him as your right outside linebacker. So when you shift your packages, you got your best linebackers on the field. I mean, that's just how you have to play in regs. You want to make sure that you can transition and move your players around as much as possible. You don't want to, try to sub guys in that are lower overall. If you can't, try to avoid it. Try to avoid it the best you can. But you want to try to make sure that you got your best players on the field at all times. So, kind of go into it real quick. Now, you can use this any under center, any 3 tight end set. You can use it versus tight sets like gun tight, stuff like that. Pretty much anything where you feel like you have leverage. I wouldn't use it against spread sets. I wouldn't use it against doubles or anything like that. But pretty much any situation that I just aforementioned as far as, tight, close, under center, it's going to be a gold mine for you. I wouldn't use it, like some of the plays you can use versus trips gun, but may not be as effective versus trip single back, okay? So just kind of get used to the formations that you're seeing, and then we'll kind of go from there. Let's practice against the Chiefs. I might actually have to practice a couple of different teams because there's different types of plays that you'll see a lot, and I need to teach you guys how to defend it. Another thing that I will say is when you're playing a base defense, not a nickel, base defense, turn your auto flip off. Okay, that's the first thing. Just from my experience, you're going to have to go more or less on opponent tendencies as opposed to you just relying on the auto flip to correctly align, because it will not correctly align in a base defense 9 times out of 10. Okay, there's just some formations where it'll just get you out of alignment for some odd reason. So anytime you're running a base defense, you turn your auto flip off. And then when you're running like a nickel, you turn it on. And when you're running a dime, you turn it off. Okay? Hopefully that helps. anytime you just have a slot corner, just one slot corner. That's the only time you turn auto flip on. All right. Now, sometimes I'll do situational things depending on the teams that I'm facing. Like if I'm playing a tight end that is just giving me problems, Epps doesn't have the size for it. You know, I'll use him for a couple of plays, and then the minute he gets cooked, I take him out. Okay, but like usually if I'm playing a better tight end, all I'm doing is putting my tallest safety out there. Like nothing else really matters. I mean, if you get some other stats to go with it, fine, but you want to put your tallest safety out here if you're dealing with teams that have great tight ends. Okay, so I use Polomal right there. And then if I'm dealing with a speed, you know, someone that just uses a lot of speed, I'll take Jack Jones out, and then I'll sub in my fastest corner over there. Sometimes, you know, I end up being a little bit creative. Like if I'm dealing with too much speed, I'll put my fastest corner over here, and then I'll put Nate Hobbs at safety. Okay, so those are just a couple of things that I will do. I will run this with three corners if I have to. Okay, so let's kind of get into it. I'm just going to show you the main two that I'm going to start off with is going to be the quarters and the pinch so that everybody understands what we're going over here. And then I'll kind of go over on another episode, I'll go over the other defenses that I use. Okay, so pretty simple setup. Pinch, you don't got to change your packages. Usually, like I said, I'm using this in situations where I know you can't block it. Okay, that's really the entire purpose of running this. So if I know you're running like a trips tray or something like that, where you only have 5 guys on the line, this is where I'm going to run it. So your setup is pretty simple. You're going to pinch your linebackers. You're going to slide the D-line to the left. You got to turn your match on. You don't turn your match on, then it's not going to work the way you want it to. So turn your match on. I'll always go conservative on my option. You know, that way if anybody, you know, you're running into the blitz, they're not going to run the inside zone. They're always going to try to use the QB rollout. And putting that on conservative just bottles it. All right. Turn the auto flip off. Pinch the line, slide the D line to the left. Inside quarter with the safety, outside quarter with the outside corner, and you might want to go vert hook with this. The reason why I go vert hook is if the number 3 right here, number 4, goes on a corner route, if I have him in man and he's in the outside quarter, the corner route's going to beat it because this corner is going to play meg. All right, he's going to jump down on any dig routes or any short routes coming to the inside. He's going to vacate that side of the field to plaster the outside corner. So basically just putting a vert hook right here is going to jump any corner routes that possibly could be thrown. All right. And then you're just going to take your user. Personally, I just put my user in a zone. Zone prevents you from falling for play fakes and whatnot. Your user always needs to be in a zone. Do not put your user in a blitz. Do not put your user in man. If you put your user in a blitz, it's going to make you take a step forward and get you out of position, especially if you don't have a lot of change of direction. If you put your user in man, you're going to fall for play fakes and stuff, or you're going to freeze and your user's going to slow down. You don't want that. So just put them in a short zone and then just defend the tight end wherever he goes. Sometimes they'll get little quick passes, and once you catch on to a tendency, you could jump. Just simple setup. And don't come down pressing him, because if you press him, you're going to make it hard for this linebacker to take that swing route by the running back. So you always want to be a little bit further. Let the tight end run to you before you hold the defensive assist. He's going to keep running the read option. I don't mind that he's going to get the yards with the running back, but in a regs game, people are just going to, go with the quarterback. You take it and see how he takes that swing route. It's not going to give them a lot of yards. They're not going to be able to. Usually, if you do it good enough, you can actually prevent them from running the wheel routes, which would typically beat man, because the pressure off there on the left by Crosby. See that how that mega assignment. I'll slow this down for you. That's why you use the outside quarter versus trips. See, this is the outside quarter. He's going to bite down on any in routes. Like he's going to plant down and get out in front of it. You see that? You don't see a lot of other channels would be like, oh, you're going to vacate your zone, this, that, and the other, and don't do it. But over here, we do it because of that right there. You want to make sure that you can get out in front of those little quick, easy dunks. Okay. Right there. See, you just take the tight end out of the game, man. He's not going to be a factor. You ain't got to worry about. Pretty simple to set up. You might want to go to practice mode, get your muscle memory down for the coverage adjustments. You see right there. Now, if you're playing MUT, you want to make sure that linebacker, that right outside, that middle linebacker has outmatched. Okay, outmatched is going to basically be a KO to any route to the running back. So it's basically having every KO, but it's going to really be based on your linebacker's ability and coverage and speed and stuff like that, depending if he can KO anything deep or something. But most of the time, it's a guaranteed flat KO to wherever the fucking running back goes. Okay. See right there. And then if it comes to a situation where they're finding ways to get under, you can obviously shade with this. So I'll shade inside underneath. That would be the only shade that I do. I always shade before I put the coverage on. He's sitting there just waiting on it. Pretty simple to set up. Just adding the shade, the double shade is just there. He just waits on it. And obviously practice mode, they're going to get, some of the easy stuff. But you can see the main thing they're not really going to get is you ran a read option right there. Like I said, that's not going to happen in a game. Now, if that becomes consistent, I can always make an adjustment. Like, if that becomes the situation that I'm dealing with, my other setup is spread the linebackers, slide them to the left. And then I can shade inside underneath and run it like that. So that's a secondary adjustment if they start running that little inside zone. Boom, you see right there? So spread linebacker, slide left. Put my user in the zone. You see right there. So that's going to bag the inside zone off the read option. I could probably slide my linebackers left and slide my D-line left, and that'll be even better for this formation because it's not going to put Coots too far outside wide. So I can shade inside underneath, then put my zones like that. See right there, tight end cannot do nothing. Make sure that you hold the defensive assist as soon as he comes to you. So slide linebackers left, slide D-line left, shade inside underneath, safety, border, vert, and then put your user in his own last. As he comes to me, well, you're not running the inside zone anymore. See, I'll make that adjustment. I went from my one setup to the second setup, adjusting how the AI was trying to play against it. You always want to make sure that you change. If you're getting beat one way, what I always try to say, change it, get out of it. Find another method. You're right there. Bagged. So that's going to be your pinch. There's other things that you can set, like you can improvise with it. For instance, if I'm playing someone that runs like I used to use it versus like gun type. So it'd be like the same thing: slide left, and then I might run 2 hard flats and a deep path, and then just user. Usually that's how I run it. 2 deep paths. I run it like a cover 2. That'll give me room to kind of figure out what I need to do. See right there, gun tight is non-factor. You will obliterate people with they come out in gun tight, or they're bold enough to come out in a gun tight. Then more power to them. Like bold enough thinking that's going to work. You see right there, you're just going to get chased out. So obviously this is going to slide right, slide left, and then put the 2 hard flats with match on. Occasionally they might try to run a wheel, but I got something for that here in a second. I'm about to show you the second coverage that I like to use. You can see right there, that pinch buck is my go-to a lot versus certain formations. You can see right there, it's unblockable. They're going to have to find some way to bring an extra blocker. It's like take someone out of their route, try to motion hike block, and take their routes away. Because you can see right here, the way the alignment comes, like that blitzing A gap is unblockable. See, even though he had a wheel route, he doesn't have time because the blitz is in the backfield. That's the main point of when you're sending a blitz, you're trying to get into the backfield before a route develops. You see right there, we get a strip sack. So just playing the alignment game, making sure that you have bodies big enough to hold on to their block, not get pancaked, so on and so forth. Now, if it come to a situation where my pass rushers have been, let's say they've been getting blocked for a minute, all right? And they start losing their pass rush points. Like the longer the game goes, the more resistance offensive lines have. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to change who my pass rushers come from. And I'm going to switch my packages. As you can see right there, we swap our packages and put our little edge rushers on the inside. And we're going into the second defense, which is going to be the quarters. Now, with the quarters, you need to make sure the auto flip is off. And then you have to be familiar with the certain formations, right? So like this one, I would have to run it flipped. So you can just go ahead and make sure that that's flipped. Do not let him be in the gap. I know a lot of channels, they try to tell you to blitz all your linebackers and put them in the gap. Fuck no, that is the dumbest shit you can do. You want to blitz everyone just to get one edge through, or do you want to be unblockable? Your choice. Okay? I'd rather be unblockable. As far as dealing with, let me put a wheel route in here, just so that you know, because a lot of people they'll start running these wheel routes. Let me go ahead and just flip it versus this formation. Like I said, once you catch on the tendencies, you'll know when to flip your play. Okay, so this has got a wheel route. So I just bring my user in. So I could actually go with a slide left adjustment. Same thing as I'm doing my 3-4 odd. But on the backside, you want to change that quarter to a third. That third's basically going to get off on that wheel route if you try to throw it over the top. Everything else should be covered. The running back will be covered underneath with the quarter flat. The safety is going to take whichever one of these, 2 or 1, goes vertical. It's going to take that. And then as the mid-read, I'm basically taking anything that covers over here. If it's short, I'm taking it. All right? If anything from the short side comes over, I'm plastering down and running with it. And then I'll let this one go because I got backside poach coverage behind me, okay? No, the quarter flat's taken. I can take that drag. You see right there, I have a high-low on the wheel route. Most people don't throw it quick. and that's fine, you know. I could actually, if I want, I could actually cloud him so that he slows that down. But I feel like they're just going to keep throwing it underneath. You see right there, that cloud is playing deep enough to where he possibly won't get beat if you're sending enough pressure with it. So it's just kind of play with it based on who your DB is. Like, because I came out in a quarter defense and I back off, I mean, I'm playing like 10 yards off the gate, and then I'm going to match cloud flat. So he's actually going to play 10 yards deeper. So that's basically setting him at a 20-yard cloud without setting his own drop. But that's going to basically handle that wheel route. And I can take this drag, and you see the pressures. I'm not even blitzing. That's a four-man rush. Like I said, it's unblockable. That's why you don't want to put your linebackers in the gap, because as long as they're 5 yards off, the line does not. They're usually not able to ID them or check to them, and it forces them to double team on the outsides. When you got your guards, which are typically slower players, 60-something speed, they're not going to be able to react to like an 87 speed linebacker just shooting through the gap. Okay? So you're basically able to still blitz out of this without technically blitzing. So slide left, put him in a cloud if you're worried about the wheel, and then just back him up. If you have a slower DB, or if they're waiting on that throw, or they're rolling out with it, you can put them in a third. But I doubt they'll necessarily have the time to make that adjustment. Remember, this is not technically a Mabel, it's a hybrid Mabel. Okay, remember, quarter flat is going to play the number 3 wherever he fucking goes. If it's a gun bunch, the number 3 is the tight end. If it's doubles, the number 3 is the running back. Quarter flat is going to plaster the number 3. You don't have to worry about chasing the running back. We got him covered. The only person I have to worry about is the receivers coming to the middle of the field. Comes on the drag, and then I can make adjustments for that post. So if I feel like, okay, that safety is going to take the inside, then I can play the outside. So I can actually run cover 2 off the backside, and then just adjust as I go. That's basically all you're doing. Just adjust as you go. Now see how that hook's right there. See how it matches with it. Again. So it'll match the dig, and all I got to do is just go up with it. And they won't know what I'm in. The running back's covered. I take the underneath. See how that hook's sitting there? See, you're not going to throw that route no more. And then you'd be surprised how many picks I get. They thinking I'm in a quarter defense, and they try to throw a quarter beater with that dig route, and I have that hook just sitting right there waiting to match to it. So I got that dig, so I can stay with it. He doesn't have the leverage on that dig route. Now, the other one I can do is spread the D line instead of sliding them left. And that's to give me double edge pressure. Now, if that drag becomes consistent, remember I said you adjust as you go. So if I spread the D-line, slide linebackers left, I can take that quarter flat on the backside and make it a hard flat. Like I said, just make adjustments as you go and slowly dissipate what the offense is able to do. Now I can pass that route off and then go straight to the dig, and now look at that. He's not going to go to it anymore. And remember, because match is on, they don't necessarily just play grass. They're going to plaster to somebody. See, remember how I said quarter flat's going to take this running back. It's going to carry him up to the cloud. See, the cloud's playing deep enough where that's not going to be open. If he throws that ball, how does match zones play? They play straight to the ball. He's going to go for the pick. Okay? Only time I would put him in a third is maybe if you're playing a little bit down, if you do the show blitz adjustment that I use for people that run, then you can put him in a third because he'll be playing lower. But if you're playing from a coverage standpoint, put him in the cloud. That way you have a high-low on the running back in case he tries to throw that. You can see right there the pressure's just coming into the pocket. He's not going to have time to roll it out. But you're looking at everything that I've got. I'm taking the drag route away, pass it off to the hard flat, then I'm plastering to the dig route, and everything's pretty much covered. Okay? So that's pretty much in a nutshell. I'm going to show you the under center variant that I use on this defense, and it's been a very good run defense for me. So let's kind of start with these. See if they got any 3 tight end sets. So they got the wing. Let's see which one we want to use. Now, they don't typically have the original. The rules for this is the blitz always has to come from the weak side. Okay, you never want to rush a guy where he can get blocked. Okay, that's the main thing. Now this is pretty simple. It doesn't require a lot. You know they're running. It's still decent pass defense, not as great as the one that I just showed you. I mean, they'll get some inside passes depending on how good your safeties are, but the run defense is going to be astronomical. All right, all you're going to do is just show blitz. Now you can opt to back the corners off so they don't get picked off in the block scheme. And you're basically, sometimes I'll sit like right here, and then I'm just going to follow the running back wherever he goes and just try to close a gap. Obviously, they're going to let Pacheco break tackles in practice mode, but I just want to kind of slow it down for you guys and show you how he's not really going to have anywhere to go. Like, usually that's going to be a tackle for a loss. Yeah, the safety's already cramming in there. And because I back the corner off, he's not able to block him. So it's going to get him out wide a little bit. So if you have a good tackle corner on the outside, it works even better. So make sure we flip it. Remember, the blitz always has to come from the weak side. And I could just back my corner off. If I know the run's going to that side, that's the only corner I need to back off. So they just let him cut. But that's practice mode. He has jukebox. And then just make a few modifications. All right, so I'm going to actually do the slide left adjustment first. Only thing is, when you show blitz, after you slide, they start crashing, and I'm not really a fan of that. All right, so what I can do, I haven't tried the full crash. I might actually do one more adjustment. Okay, one key thing. If you know they're running, you probably want to get out of this package and put your edge rushers back on the field. There's a couple of ways you can do it. Like if you have an ability, you could probably keep it on there. You know they're just going to run to one side no matter what. So I could experiment with Crosby over there to the left, right? And see if he's able to activate from that position. And then just back him off. You can see right there. There we go. Not exactly what, I mean, yeah, I guess he activated, but not exactly the way I wanted him to because he got double teamed, but that's fine. If I bring that corner down, he probably won't get double teamed. Yeah, there we go. So you could run it that way, or like I said, if you don't have abilities, you want to put him on the edge, and then you want to get a bigger body up in the front. So I'll put him back on the edge and run it. And then all you got to do is just show blitz, and then back that corner off so that he don't get blocked. There you go. Set them safeties play those run fits. That blitz on the weak side is there. If they try to flip the play and run it weak, then it's going to put you at an advantage to crash that gap without them bringing an extra blocker over there. That's the main purpose behind it. You see right there, it gets bottled. You know, they're not going to get a lot of rush yards. Eventually, they're going to vacate the run, which is ultimately what you want to do. See right there, safety. Look, you're not running outside on it. It's no. But that's pretty much going to be it. See, Crosby just already got activated, getting tackles for loss, an easy way to get him in the zone. But those are going to be the two plays that I show you today. I'm going to show you the rest as I get more lab work in and can break into the consistency. But those two plays alone will just help you win more games. Like even if your offense isn't great, your defense will be there to keep you in games. You know, so if you make mistakes on offense, it's fine. Your defense, I guarantee you, your defense will get you the ball back. Because, I mean, I've been playing this since the beginning of the year, and turnovers, like winning turnover battles has been key for me to get more than 500 wins than losses. You know, I've taken losses on, you know, some dumb mistakes on my offense, but I can never sit there and just say it was because of my defense that I lost games. So, I mean, show you the record real quick. I mean, I'm pretty good. You see right there, I almost got like 1,000 wins. So, I mean, my defense alone is the reason why I'm in most of my games. So I'm going to probably cut this so that people just have the video to look at so they can kind of look. And then I'm going to re-up my stream for my Regs gameplay. All right, appreciate y'all tuning in.